One thing about fitness that I've really started believing to be absolute, not just in my many years as somebody who has consistently exercised, but also professionally doing health club memberships, management, personal training, having conversations with many, many people, regardless of what phase they are in on their fitness journey, whether they are brand new to the process or even professional bodybuilders, is the fact that the biggest challenge that you face has nothing to do with the physical element of exercising. It all has to do with the mental part. It all has to do with what's going on between our ears. And I think it's so important to have that understanding because it tells us that the more that we work on ourselves, the more that we work on our personal development, the further along we're going to go in the fitness process. Now, this isn't an absolute guarantee. You do see many people who just have this sort of racehorse mentality where they just get up and go for it. They probably don't think too much about it, but they just put in the work day in and day out. But in my experience, that's not the average person. The average person, they're thinking about that workout and they're already having a sense of dread. They're telling themselves that they're too tired. They don't feel like going through the effort. They don't feel like being sore after a workout. And so they're needing all types of inspiration and motivation. And the problem with that is you're already depleting yourself of so much mental energy before you even get to the point of working out. So it's important to explore this area, this part of us that is averse to getting out of our comfort zone, that has challenges when it comes to finding a way to make exercise a daily habit. And this isn't just for our physique goals, which is what people will typically think about when they're thinking about why it is that they're wanting to pursue fitness. But more importantly, it's just for our longevity, just so that we can increase our lifespan and not only hopefully be here on this planet as long as we possibly can, but to be here in a way where we're not on the sidelines. We're still able to experience life. If we're older and somebody takes us to a park, we don't have to be that person who's stuck on the bench. We could get up, we could go, we could look around. If you're blessed enough to be in a phase of life where you have grandchildren, you can interact with them, you could pick them up, you can engage, you could play, you could do all of these things that an able body will grant you, but you do have to earn it. And so you have to understand that what's going on mentally is going to be what propels you and pushes you further and further forward in the fitness process. And so I always recommend that people learn a few personal development concepts in order to make sure that they are engaged in a way that could help them overcome the typical pitfalls that I see repeatedly when it comes to people who are trying to make that lifestyle change, but just seem to be unable to do it. And first and foremost, what we have to understand is that it's not a matter of how we feel or what we're thinking about. It's a matter of how we live our lives. We don't need to put a lot of thought into taking a bath, brushing our teeth, going to work, any of these major responsibilities that it comes with family. We just know that we're going to do it. Sometimes we even feel that we don't have the luxury to say, I don't feel good when it comes to work, when it comes to other people in our lives. but we shortchange ourselves in that way. And that's the first thing that we need to understand, is that we have to act on the same level that we say we care and love ourselves. Everybody will pay lip service to loving themselves, valuing themselves, but you have to look at the actions of the person. If you are allowing your body to deteriorate without doing any sort of maintenance work to make sure that you are running properly, if you are not fueling yourself with food items that are going to give you more energy, add to your health, as opposed to stripping you of your health and aiding your sickness, then mentally there is something there where you're telling yourself you don't actually care the way that you believe you care. And while you're doing this, you're maintaining your vehicle, maintaining trivial items in your house. But this one mechanism, your body, that allows you to be engaged with all of these other things that you care about so much, you will not even be able to do if you don't take care of it. So understand your relationship with yourself, how you can prioritize yourself in a way that can trickle down to everything and everybody else. It's that same analogy that we hear all the time about the importance of making sure that you are getting your oxygen first before you're taking care of other people and making sure that they get their oxygen. Because if you're just making sure that you're taking care of other people, you're going to be the first person who doesn't have the resources you need to maintain and take care of yourself. So feed yourself, fuel yourself, take care of yourself as much as possible, to the point that not only are you filled, but it overflows to everybody else around you. And the second challenge that I would always say is to understand that fitness is a habit. And once you establish that habit, you can remove 90% of the obstacles that people deal with by second guessing what they want to do, by talking themselves out of exercise, by feeling all of this tension and anxiety that happens in their bodies because they haven't gotten over the hump where mind, body, everything is aligned to know what it is that you do every day. And you don't have this same fight or flight syndrome where somebody says, I'm going to start exercising on Monday. And as soon as Monday comes around, your body's saying, next Monday, I'm not doing this now. And so get up and go and do your best to be consistent, and understand that doing your best doesn't mean that you're showing up as a level 10 every single day. It just means you're showing up to the best of your ability. So sometimes you're going to go to the gym and you're going to be able to have a great workout. You're going to feel energized. You're going to feel comfortable. You're going to lift heavy. You're going to give so much effort. And the next day, you're thinking you need to do that exact same thing again. But if you have that mindset, you're setting yourself up to let yourself down, because this isn't always going to be realistic. Instead, you may show up and you have all the intentions in the world of doing what you did yesterday, but your body doesn't feel the same. You're tired, you're sore, so you go 80%. Sometimes you may not feel like lifting at all, so you just take a break. You walk on the treadmill, you swim, you explore, you decide to do something different, you exercise a body part that you don't usually do, something that's overlooked, you do ab work instead, you finally address your calves, whatever it may be, whether it's a 10, a 4, an 8, you just show up to the best of your ability on that day. And you'll find that no matter what, you're still making progress, because it's the consistency that matters more than anything else, not just for your physique, but for your mindset as well. When you know that this is just what you do, you don't need to convince yourself to do it. You don't need no motivation to do it. You understand that this is just a lifestyle that you've chosen to live, then everything else will get easier from there. It really is mindset over everything else. It isn't just a meme that sounds catchy. It is, in my experience, for myself and through other people, the best skill that you could learn to be consistent. So I wanted to make sure that I shared that one with you guys. Let me know what you think. If you have a different opinion or the same one, would like to hear from you, and I'll talk to you next time.